Croeso nôl to Fearless in Devotion. Welcome back to the Fearless in Devotion podcast, sponsored by the 𝙁𝒊𝒏𝒈 Bar and Restaurant. Go and visit them. Some news, Tim, don't we, about a event that is happening? Is it confirmed?
It is confirmed. It's kind of been something that's been long overdue. We've been trying to do something for a while, but it's finally come to fruition because I've pulled my finger out, amongst other things. So yeah, at the Maesgwyn Hall in Wrexham, Thursday, August the 3rd, a kind of a season's eve event. From around 7 o'clock onwards, the final details will be released tomorrow. Ticketing details will be released as well. But ultimately, the lineup consists of as follows: Paul Rutherford, of all people, along with fellow Scouser Neil Ashton, two of the better guests we've ever had on the podcasts, and very, very popular, very talkative, very likeable former players of ours. Along with that, we've got Neil Roberts coming along as well, and 𝒂𝒐𝒊𝒄𝒂 Owen and Wayne Phillips. They're going to do a little segment based around all the shirts they wore during their time at Wrexham and the shirts they've swapped with other players. Gaz has got loads of good stories as well. So that's happening. There's going to be a prize draw, some really, really good prizes, including the limited edition 4 Walls whiskey, which obviously we were donated by Rob McElhenney recently. Signed ball, all sorts of stuff. Tickets to the first game of the season, tickets to the pre-match game with Cae Ras at the Maesgwyn on the 5th of August. Loads of stuff, and we're going to have loads of stall holders selling Wrexham FC related merch. Liam Stokes Massey, football shirts galore. Tappy from Wrexham Trainer Revival, Tim from Spirit 58 is going to send us some stuff over. So it's kind of like a
fanzines.
Yeah, fanzines will be there. Plenty of fanzines will be available.
It's a Wrexham AFC 𝙁𝒃-FiD.
Yeah, pretty much. It's gonna. It's not gonna
dance.
Don't have to. You can dance.
You have to dress. Andy has to dress up as Mr. Ear, if I heard.
That's niche.
Not again. After what happened last time.
Tickets are only going to be a £5. It's going to be a limited capacity event. It's kind of like a tester event, but hopefully we can sell it out, and it can be something that we can look to do on a regular basis going forward. So keep your eyes peeled for that tomorrow on all the socials, and please help sell it out. It should be a great occasion and get everybody in the mood for the first game of the season 48 hours later.
What are we calling it? Fearless in Devotion Live? Fearless in Devotion
I don't know.
Unleashed?
No, it's not live. It's not live yet, but we will be doing maybe a live pod in the near future. However, if you want
to, it is live because it's literally happening.
Oh, yeah, but not recorded live. The way you said it,
that's not what I said.
𝐵𝒐𝒊𝒄𝒂.
𝐵𝒐𝒊𝒄𝒂. Tell you what, chuck in some ideas. Please tweet us some of your ideas for a.
How many times do I have to say 𝐵𝒐𝒊𝒄𝒂?
It's crap. No, I don't like 𝐵𝒐𝒊𝒄𝒂. 𝐵𝒐𝒊𝒄𝒂. So we're going down the obvious route. Just tweet us some ideas. The best one gets 3 entries to the next one. I don't know.
Very exciting. Although, apologies in advance, I can't be there, so there's no real point going. Guys, good news for all of you, for everyone else. I will actually be in, and this is not a joke. I will be in a German forest.
This is Alan Partridge.
Doing
tennis.
No, doing LARPing, which for those of you who don't know,
I know what that is,
including me until a week ago, live action role play. So I will be taking part in a medieval quest.
You'll be a sexy midwife.
You're going to be a buxom wench.
No. No, I think I'm going to be some form of knight in a tunic of some description. But yeah, it sounds fun. But either way, I have a genuine reason to not be there. But still, that's very exciting, and more details to come over the next week or two. Anyway, moving on to the podcast. Let's crack on. Lots of news. The team are in the US. Andy, our USA correspondent, as you can see there, all the glitz and glamour of America behind him in that dark grey room. How?
It's like Times Square here, isn't it?
At the bottom of some stairs, no doubt.
From our own correspondent, what's it been like?
A bit of disclaimer: I've not been doing the sort of tried and trusted Wrexham sort of team stroke fan journey, because we sort of done our own thing really. So we flew into DC, drove down to North Carolina to Durham, stayed with, or spent a lot of time with Tom and Justin. I don't know if you remember those guys who were on the pod a couple of months ago reviewing Welcome to Wrexham. Saw those guys for a bit. Went over to Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill was crazy. Fair play. There was a Wrexham fan zone. We had to queue to get in. You could meet and greet Fleur if you wanted to. It was like, and a lot of people, were queuing for merchandise. I was selling fanzines. There was Betty Buzz mixer. There was just lots of Wrexham related stuff, and everyone seemed to really be into it. And so many people came up and said about the podcast and the fanzine. We saw Alex from last week and Adam from last week. They were there. I'm about to meet Alex in about an hour after this because I'm in Baltimore at the moment, and he's I think what's his Twitter handle, Tim? Is it Baltimore Wrexham fanatic? Oh, I can see it.
I can't remember now. You put me on the spot. Something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah.
Either way, he's a Wrexham fanatic and he's from Baltimore. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. And he was getting well into it, with his two daughters. So was Adam. So was a lot more sitting around us, just asking questions about Mullin, asking questions about Wrexham, about the team, about the area. I mean, you finally get a sort of an idea of how big it is out here. It's big. On the pitch, you were there in North Carolina for the game against Chelsea. Obviously, not a great result. What were you 5-0? I think we lost. What were your thoughts? Yeah, a bit of a tough scoreline. That I don't think it was a 5-0 game. But all I wanted was fitness and some sort of semblance of formation and tactics, and I think we got that. I think Chelsea took every single chance they had because they're a Premier League team. They want to impress their new manager. They're youngsters. They're clinical, and they scored early on. It was quite hard for us to get back into the game. It was very hot. I will say that, very hot. It's probably our first real pre-season game, so there was a bit of rust out there. But I think once we got over the shock of going behind, they put some good passages of play together. Mullin got on the end of a few. Dolby was effective. I'm not one of these people to sort of start saying we're going to have a terrible season because we've lost one pre-season game. For me, did everyone come through it injury free? Yes. Well, in that case, for me, it's a result. Well said, Andy Gilpin, the voice of reason. Because there have been some hysterical reactions, to be fair, haven't there? Has there? By who? Tim?
Yeah. By me.
Liam would always give you an hysterical reaction.
Andy, can I just ask, are you actually in America?
Why? Does it look like I'm just in a Holiday Inn in Loughborough?
It looks a lot like your flat in North London.
And all we've seen a picture of you at the bottom of some stairs and a bust of Thomas Jefferson, which could have been anywhere as far as I'm concerned. So I don't believe you're actually in the US. I think you're hoodwinking us.
Okay, what could I do to prove? Do I need to get a 10-gallon hat on and a bolo tie? Right, okay. All right, here's something. If I get caught smoking, I have to pay $250.
Why are you smoking weed?
Well, I'm not, because I don't want to pay $250.
It makes a difference from usual Marlboros. Have you not seen anyway.
The Wire? I mean, lucky it's just weed.
Indeed. Well,
I'll take your word for it.
Moving on to the second game, which was last night, or when you're listening to this, 2 nights ago. Strong win against LA Galaxy. Did anyone stay up to watch it? Can I just have a bit of disclaimer before I actually put it off to someone who did watch it? I stayed up for the first half. I thought we were pretty decent. They had a couple of chances. I knew we'd ground them down in the second half. Unfortunately, I fell asleep by the second half. And when I woke up, we were only 2-0 up. And I thought, I did that thing where I paused YouTube and I went, when I get up tomorrow, I'm just going to press play on this and watch the rest of it. Yeah, but I had to drive to Baltimore, so I couldn't. Fair enough. But I mean, pretty comprehensive victory, although obviously they're playing a very young side. Liam, any thoughts on the highlights and the goals?
Yeah, I've seen the highlights. There's one really nice move. Well, actually, a couple really. I think for the Andy Cannon goal, really nice weighted pass by Mullin. I think that's actually Andy Cannon's first goal, isn't it, for Wrexham since he's joined? So decent to see. And I just like the fact that Tom O'Connor was playing in midfield and doing Tom O'Connor things, because I want that man in our midfield this season. I want him starting there instead of centre back. We've seem to have a wealth of riches now in defence, although we've just learned that Jordan Tunnicliffe might be out for the start of the season. But I would hope to see Tom O'Connor, ticking things over at the base of that midfield.
Yes, the Tunnicliffe news. What do we make of that?
Well, yeah, it's a blow, but it's not like we're not well stocked there. I mean, we'll probably talk about the midfield starters later as part of our regular segment, which ends in a week.
What's the regular injury? Is it hamstring?
Calf.
I think it's a back-related injury, possibly.
I thought it was calf. There was a calf strain I read earlier, and he says it's not serious, but he definitely won't be ready for the start of the season. And maybe go some ways to explaining why they were keen to get another centre back in. Maybe one or two of them have been carrying a niggle. So once again, the powers that be in football at the club know more about football than us. Shock. There we go. Andy's taking that very personally. Anyway, Tim, the Tunnicliffe injury, not too concerned about it. Hopefully be back soon, mid-August maybe.
Yeah, it's as if they already kind of preempted it by signing a defender. So, we're well stocked at the back, to be honest. As much as it is a blow, and I would have liked him to start. In the words of Welsh Beast, 𝑾𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒈 looks like a right tough bastard. So chuck him in there. He's come from a higher level. He's going to slot in quite nicely. And yeah, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. If you're going to pick up knocks and stuff on this tour, you just are, because of the nature of it. It's so arduous that the minutes in that heat, etc., there's going to be knocks. So if we come away from it with one or two that aren't serious long-term injuries, then I'll take that all day long.
Yes, well said. There's some talk of Mullin carrying a knock. Was taken off yesterday. Andy, you're a man on the ground. You got any info on that? Hoping you
was he?
I think it might be when he followed up the ball for the goal, because he kind of clambered into the net, was clattered between the post and the keeper and another defender. So when he got up, there was no celebration. It was more like he took a bit of a knock in that collision and getting the ball over the line. I don't think it's anything more serious.
If it's an impact injury, it should be fine. I mean, it's a pull or a strain that you don't want now, but impact is usually a couple of days. And we've got cover there as well with Waters and Dalby.
Can we just say that about, just touching on the US thing, because we could talk about it for ages, all the sort of grandeur that's gone with it, and the bus with the US invasion and all that stuff on it, but all the players have conducted themselves so well, and I think that's translated really well. A lot of fans saying don't get that with some of the top 5 players, which of course you don't as much. So it's good to see the players really put themselves out there, led from the front by Mullin. I think somebody posted the other day that he spent maybe half an hour to an hour just going around doing selfies with people who wanted them after the Galaxy game. So again, it just kind of shows you the kind of the measure of him and the squad we've got, and that they're willing to go above and beyond what would be expected of them, really.
Yeah, he did the same. He did the same in Chapel Hill. He's like playing football with a little lad for a couple of minutes. After he doesn't need to do stuff like that. He's already dressed. He could just get on the bus, but he wanted to stay. He wanted to repay the sort of just to repay the fandom he's had over here.
Moving on, some good news, some unexpected, good, heartwarming news this week was the appearance of Brian Flynn on tour with the lads, which I don't think anyone knew about. That's great, right? Like, how good is it that they've got Flinny back involved?
That's great. I wonder if I don't know. Maybe they heard the pod and just sort of listened to Brian talk so well about the club and have a great memory and have a clear idea of what he was doing then. And maybe they thought, well, maybe he can help us in the future. I mean, there was talk that maybe he might be involved in the youth setup. What a perfect person to help you with that. I mean,
let's just assume that that's what happened and we can claim credit for it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Brian is a tireless worker, even at his age now. He still knows football. He still has contacts in every part of the game. He'll know all about the Welsh youth development. He'll know about any sort of development in northwest of England. He seems perfect for the sort of brain that you really want to pick as we try and redo our youth setup. And let's not forget that he took that centre of excellence, playing on a car park outside the racecourse, and made them an academy, playing the likes of Liverpool, Everton and Man United on a regular basis. And if he even gets 50% of the way there with this youth setup, it's going to hold us in good stead.
I'm kind of excited at the fact that Flynny's there and the players and the management and staff potentially use him as a sponge for all the knowledge to do with the club previously. Of course, people are going to be asking, what was it like in your time? Tell us about some of the harder points in the club's history, which he oversaw, some of the great days as well. So delighted for Flynny to be an ambassador, and here's hoping it's a long-term part of the strategy.
Yeah, just makes you smile to see that little smiling face with the straw hat on the pictures on social media. I noticed someone also said he was speaking to some fans before one of the games, and he had his old, I don't know if it was like a security pass from when it was Wrexham. I think it's about 30 odd years old, this security pass, and he still keeps hold of it. So yeah, just a nice little addition. Yeah,
top man. Glad to see him involved. Right, it's time now for one of your favourite segments of the week with one of the greatest jingles of the podcast. The name changes every week. This week I'm going to go with Liam Randall's Big Moods.
To move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. You like to move it.
That was Reel to Reel featuring the Mad Stuntmen. It was the Eric Moore club mix.
And what a seamless
K.
transition. You can tell that we've done 120 odd episodes or whatever it is. Either way, Liam, take it away. What has your snout told you this week?
Okay, so Wonderboy, we've got a bit of a rollover this week because I wasn't on the pod last week. So we've got a bit of a rollover of transfer news. So you might remember that we were closely linked with Nick Powell, sort of early days of the transfer window before he went on to join Stockport. Now, according to Wonderboy, to me, this sounds like the sort of thing you'd say if you'd missed out on a player. But according to him, Nick Powell didn't join us as he didn't pass the 𝑾𝒐𝒊𝒄𝒂 personality test. Do we think that's true?
I mean, is the 𝑾𝒐𝒊𝒄𝒂 personality test, would you take less than $3,000 a week?
It could be. It could, or that, or he's attaching them up to sort of electrodes and things like that.
I reckon he sat him down and went, Nick, are you a fucking fanny footballer? To which he probably replied, yes. There's the exit.
Thank you. Now you've just made this bloody PG.
Oh, sure. It's just one swear word. Put a PG logo on it. It's not family fun entertainment.
So yeah, that is our first little tidbit. Mini update on Bolton left wing back Declan John, who we've been linked with on a number of occasions. Apparently Bolton are being stubborn in terms of letting him go to us. The stubborn bar stewards, I will say, because I think we've used up our swearing quota. The club did want to add another unnamed person on the Friday before last when we signed Boyle, but it didn't commit together in time for the tour. So there's also news of another striker who we've missed out on. Former Stevenage striker Luke Norris turned this down in favour of Tranmere as he wanted to be guaranteed game time. Now I can see that I've sort of wondered throughout the transfer window if that's perhaps holding us back in terms of bringing a striker in, because I'm not sure about you guys, but personally I don't see anyone immediately unsettling the partnership of Palmer and Mullin up top. So I have actually wondered if that's maybe a stumbling block. Don't know what you think. Depends
what caliber you're bringing in, really, isn't it? If you're bringing someone in from the Championship, yeah, it is going to rock that partnership. What I'd say is, look, we're past past the stage now where we can't bring in loan players. We're past the stage where we can't bring in people 2 or 3 months into the season. At the moment, we've got Mullin fit, we've got Palmer fit, we've got Dolby to come in, we've got Walters to come in. I think that's probably enough to go into a season with, but I would be amazed if round about October or even November we hadn't signed a new striker, because there's wear and tear. You want to rest people. People become available after the transfer window that maybe they can't, maybe they're not now. So who knows?
You say Walters then, or Waters?
No, I mean, I think we're playing Julie Walters up front.
Oh, John Walters.
Yeah.
So you say that, I think 𝑾𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂 scored a couple for the other day as well, apparently. In the reserves.
Can he get on the bench? Tim, do you know?
From-
Can he get on the bench?
Yeah, I think he can. I think he can.
Sorry, just to say that, because we can get a couple of youth team players in on this bench if they've come through our youth system. So I think
the cup competitions is where the likes we're going to see 𝒂𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒄𝒂 and whatnot have a say. So we'll see.
Okay,
Well,
just a couple of.
There's more. Sorry, Liam.
Just saying that. So apparently the club is also taking a look to the League of Ireland in its search for players. No specific names, but I was trying to think, have we ever signed someone directly from the Irish leagues before?
Barry Hunter came from the Northern Irish League. Does that count?
Coleraine, wasn't it? I think we signed him from.
We'll count that, won't we?
Barry Hunter we got from Crusaders, which I think is a Northern Irish club. There's also Dave Warren, who came from an Irish team.
John Holmes?
John who, sorry?
Sean Holmes.
No, I thought he came from City.
He did, you're right. Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Just goes to show, though, that they're leaving, I guess, no stone unturned. We're not just looking, to English leagues, looking a bit further afield. Again,
yeah. Why wouldn't
Brian Flynn worked for Brian Flynn, so why would you not?
I mean, if Brian Flynn went across to Ireland, they would praise him as a leprechaun. So.
Very true.
And shrine somewhere in Northern Ireland.
Perhaps probably quite obvious, but they're not expecting any transfer action until we get back from the US. But I think that was pretty much a given the fact that you've got Sean Harvey, Fleur, etc. out there. I didn't really anticipate seeing any movement while we're out there. So yeah, that concludes.
They've got Wi-Fi in business class, haven't they?
Well, and everything's done by e-sign, I'm told these days. So it's not like you need to get them.
Hang on, is Gary not manning that fact?
Well, HP were going to send us a new one apparently. So.
Right, fair enough. Well, is there any more, Liam? Any more intel?
That concludes Wonder Boy's wondrous transfer updates.
So, thank you. Moving seamlessly on to whether, with 2 weeks to go before the campaign, are we feeling adequately prepared, having made only one signing? Tim,
personally or team-wise?
Personally, from your perspective, do you think that, are we adequately prepared to start League Two?
Yes. Yeah, I do. Look what they've been doing out here. It's warm weather training. They've got the top facilities. That Chapel Hill stuff is absolutely amazing. If they were getting into the university stuff there, that is absolutely amazing facilities. They've had the run around against Chelsea a little bit. They've had a confidence booster against LA, which again is still in humid heat and still have to really, you have to try and dominate that game, and they did. I think what will happen again is I think they'll probably lose 3-4 goals against United, but then I think they'll come back strong and beat the Union as well. I think fitness-wise they'll be in the right sort of place. Yeah.
Tim, agree, disagree?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the selfish fan of me wants to say, yeah, maybe we're too light, but when you look at the squad, I think if you look at the squad on paper, I think it's easy to forget how good a squad this is. They've been together for a while now. They know each other inside out. I think it's just going to be a continuation from last season. I don't think we said all along we don't need to tweak it too much. I wouldn't be surprised to see us get another face in for the door the week leading up to the first game. Would not at all be surprised. So, yeah, he's put feelers out at players that are already at clubs. They may well have made a decision. It's like, well, we'll sort out the finalities when we get back. So there's a possibility we will get.
Mate, we haven't done a loan player in years. So I mean,
Parky doesn't seem to like loans, does he? Is that
No, I know, but
going on a limb?
No, I think he has liked loans before, but it's hard to get that top quality loan player to come to the conference. Clubs like Liverpool or Everton or people don't want to lend players to the conference, and they don't want to lend their top youth players to the conference. But what they might want to do is lend it to a league club who are doing well in front of big crowds with expectation. So I would don't discount a loan player coming in, like a top level loan player. Parky's done it before. He's got the contacts. People want to send their players to Wrexham.
There you go. You heard it here first. Liam, are you feeling adequately prepared?
What personally? I mean, I've got the shirt. I'm in terms of the actual team, though, I think I've said it before that I wouldn't be scared sending this team into the first game. You look what they did last season. Would I, as Tim said, quite greedily like maybe one extra face? I think potentially. For me, the position maybe I'd like to strengthen most is left wing back. That's no disrespect to the players we've got in that position at the moment, but it's the one where I could potentially see us, being targeted defensively. But that said, we've got plenty of players who can play there. It wouldn't be a disaster if we started the season like this. And from what I've seen of the facilities over in the US as well, I think from a physical and fitness perspective, they'll be well equipped as well.
Yes, indeed. Well, who knows what we'll have in the next couple of weeks anyway. And as Tim says, perhaps the week before the first game, we'll be seeing some action. Moving on. Yes.
Well, just a nice little segue. Should we sort of pick our midfield now? Because it's something that we've been doing the last couple of weeks.
Let's do it in our regular feature now, which we started 4 weeks ago and we haven't done since. But this is the second installment of us picking our...
You did it when you were away.
Third installment. What did you do in the... Oh, you did the wing backs, yeah.
Yeah.
Third installment, of course, sorry. Do anyone want to rattle through the team so far?
Yeah, I think we did Foster in goal. I think we went for Hayden, didn't we, Tim? Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Hayden, Tozer, and Tunnicliffe.
You went Tunnicliffe. I went Owen O'Connell. But we ended with Tunnicliffe.
We went Mendy and Barnett.
Yeah, cool. So now we're going to choose our midfield. Who would like to go first? Who wants to set their stall out early? Liam, you've already said that you wanted to see Tom O'Connor in midfield, so I'm assuming he's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I just rate him really highly. I just like how he makes it look easy in midfield, mops the ball up, gets it moving again. I'd say nothing fancy, but actually I remember some of the crossfield balls he played against the likes of Coventry last season, just top quality. So him at the base. Then Elliot Lee in the attacking role, just because I think he's, again, he's really added to us since he came in, not just in an attacking sense. He also does his duties tracking back. And then I think just for the sake of having a balanced midfield, I'd like to see James Jones in there, just because I think he does a lot of the running in midfield. And you saw in the likes of the Notts County game as well, he can be really useful on the overlap as well. So for me, that's my three. Andy Cannon just misses out. I think he's a quality player, but sometimes I think he has a tendency to overplay it, which could be, caught out in League Two, but that's just my view.
You're entitled to it. Strong start. Tim, next.
Yeah, O'Connor's got to start without a doubt. I think he could be our key midfielder this season, providing he stays injury free. Lee, again, definitely. And yeah, I think I'm the same as Liam. Just shades Cannon. I think I'm going to go with Jones, just because he offers that dynamism that we need as well. Just energy levels as well, tracks back. So yeah, those are my three.
That's 2 out of 2, the same answer, Andy.
Yeah, I was shaking my head then because that was exactly my three, and I thought I was being a bit contraire, but obviously I'm not. Yeah, O'Connor is by far our best midfielder. I think Lee not only adds a lot of attacking impetus, but it's just his work rate. He runs everything down, and I think Jones will get better the more we go up the leagues. I think he got bogged down a little bit in the National League, but I think there'll be a little bit more time on the ball for him higher up, and just his work rate makes us tick. It just leads everyone else by example. So they'd be my three. I mean, I thought Cannon played really, really well yesterday, but I don't know. I think for me it's either Cannon or O'Connor, and I just think O'Connor is far above him.
And we got a total clean sweep, ladies and gents, because I totally agree. I think Jimmy Jones, JJ, fantastic player. Always said it, always will. But no, yeah, they're three fantastic players, and they'd be my starting three. And you've got then Cannon, who, as you say, is probably the most obvious direct replacement for Tom O'Connor. Should he be needed to go in defence? Can't see that being necessary.
I hope not. I bloody hope not.
Or should he be injured? Then you've also got Jordan for Elliot Lee, and you've got Youngie for James Jones. So, I mean, I think we've got really good coverage there. And those, I think there's a general consensus that those are our starting midfielders. So great. Next week, strikers. Which
should be a long debate, won't it?
That will be that'll be another. I think that'll go quite similarly to this one. But who knows? Who knows what happens in the against Man United? We might be talking. Could be players injured. Let's hope not. Moving on, Wrexham women. Another big week for them. Signed 2 players, and Tim, the fixtures are out this week, aren't there, for their first sort of appearance in the big league?
Yeah, Adran Premier League fixtures are out 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Wrexham Women prepping well for that. They drew 2 each at Shrewsbury Sunday afternoon. Shrewsbury kind of double champions in whatever league they play in. Forgive my ignorance. So yeah, they were leading 2-0, 2-1 at half-time, drew 2 each. I'm not sure if both new players played. We got Hannah 𝑾𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒈, I think that's how you pronounce it. She played and scored, Welsh international, so big signing for Wrexham Women, along with Karen Allen, defender, comes with a decent pedigree as well. I think she's won 3 promotions in the last 3 seasons with, I think it's Stourbridge, but she's ex-Aston Villa. So yeah, Wrexham Women recruiting well for their maiden voyage into the Adran Premier, and showing that they're not going to go there just to make up the numbers.
Yeah, really hope they can hit the ground running. I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, but a lot of games here down in the south, so lots of opportunities for the Wrexiles down here to go and watch a few games, because it might be quite difficult to watch the men's this year, as already quite a few of us are finding out. On the ticket situation, I mean, we're already, I think, seeing the remarkably increased demand that there is, not just for home tickets but for away tickets as well, right? Andy, do you manage to get any Wimbledon ones?
Yeah, I completely forgot. My mate Chris bailed me out, so we've got 2 for Wimbledon. That's just because we're part of each other's network. We're both season ticket holders, so once he got in, he managed to navigate the it's like Ticketmaster. It's like remember that show Nightmare, where you have to sort of like guide someone through something.
With the helmet.
It can be tough. But Chris,
I just get sessions timed out all the time. Like I get in a queue, and then it always happens. You'll get there and like, oh great, dead quick, put them in, and then suddenly you've been timed out, and it's been like 10 seconds.
Sometimes they're still in your inbox though, or they're still in your sort of checkout. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not perfect. I don't think it ever will be with Ticketmaster unless there's a loyalty scheme, and I think we're way off that. I'll be honest. I think that will cost the club a lot more, and I think the club quite like the idea of spreading tickets between as many fans as possible at the moment, rightly or wrongly. But yeah, as I said a couple of weeks ago, I know I'll miss out on a couple of games that I want to go to this season, but you know, that's the price you pay for having more interest in your club. And I'd rather be where we are than where we were 4 or 5 years ago, where I could get a ticket really easily.
Yeah, well said. Tim, any thoughts? Have you been on the ticket hunt? Obviously, with the first game as a season ticket holder.
Yeah, I mean, I was in a panic. I kind of made sure I set aside the time at work to get on in due course. I managed to get on. Then there was a thing saying there's so many 100 people in front of you. I thought, great, if that stacks up and that's correct, then I'm going to get a ticket, which I did. I found it the easiest experience I've had so far in terms of trying to obtain one. There's been previous times, Torquay, for example, where it was just nigh on impossible. It just didn't happen. Luckily, I did end up getting for that game. But yeah, again, some people did experience difficulties. Some people said, I was supposed to get one. It said there were so many hundreds, but then it timed me out, and I jumped back in, and they said there was nothing left. So it's still not pleasing everybody, that's for sure. Which is difficult, and you're not going to please everybody. And obviously, there's still tickets set aside as the time this recording for the members, which I think go on sale on Monday. Those will go dead quickly as well.
Tim, just remind me, can we as season ticket holders go for those again? Are we technically members?
There's not been any real clarity about it. You would assume, because we are members as season ticket holders, then you conceivably could, so you get a second bite of the cherry. However, I think the discrepancy is, if you're just a member and you're not a season ticket holder, that's where that spare allocation will go to. Is it 300?
Yeah, I would say so. That's what
I would assume is that. Otherwise, what is the point in setting that up to say, right,
because
there's a 70-30 split? So I'd assume that it's only going to be available to those who are members only and are not season ticket holders and members, because that would make no sense in what the club have developed and put into place.
Tim, can I just say before Reese comes back in, that black shirt looks absolutely great. I mean, I've not seen it. I've not seen it live, as it were. Yeah, it's been delivered, but obviously I'm in Baltimore, so I can't. I haven't put it on yet. But the black looks really. I think it looks really dark. It looks really, really good, I think.
Nice. It's nice. I was going to do a shirt with you. I never got round to it. There's a slightly weird apron, I'm calling it, at the bottom, which is just the red bit, which kind of curves longer than maybe what it needs to, but I'm a shirt snob. You've got this 3 button down collar thing, which when you even pull it apart, it doesn't make much difference that it still holds itself. But yeah, really, really nice
collar.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just a nice looking shirt. It's really nice. It's been a long time coming, very long time coming since we've had a black shirt, and I think it will be a strong seller, as they all are. But to be honest, I'm most looking forward to the white one, which I know is not to everybody's taste, but having seen it on show in that first game against Chelsea, it's very much up my street. Big fan of it.
So the black one's been delivered, but the white one's still on
route.
route.
I think they phased it in the sense, right, we're having this week, which is the home shirts, they've been gone and sent. Then we're having this week, which is the black shirts, gone and sent. I had mine the day after they went out in the club shop on Wednesday, so I had mine on the Thursday. I pre-ordered this with my season ticket renewal. So they are kind of filtering through slowly but surely. So I would imagine that this week we will probably see, white shirts are now being sent out. So I imagine that's how they're phasing it. And I dare say season tickets will probably be sent out this week, or will land on your phone if you opted for the digital option. And some people have said, why have they waited so long to do this? It's one of those, isn't it? I mean, you could send it out and then you mislay it, and then they've got those issues to deal with, mislaid season tickets, I've lost this, I've lost that. So it's just probably avoiding that pitfall as well, potentially. Especially, it'd be interesting to see how many people have gone for that digital option, because you can just drop on your phone 3 days before.
I can't remember what I did.
I've gone physical option, I think.
Yeah, I've gone
just because I'm old school.
But I dare say that those will start happening once they've dealt with all the retail chaos of shirt sales and everything else. And I think the season tickets will start dropping, I would assume, tail end of this week, I'd imagine.
Nice one.
Nice one. Very exciting. And as Andy says, really great that the black shirt looks dark. You said that, and I didn't have an opportunity to come in and say what a ridiculous statement that was.
Got the
but
grey
I-
bit down the bottom.
Well, no, but that's what I was on about. You absolute melon. I said last week. I just didn't. Well, it looked more two-tone than dark.
Okay, fine. I missed some
You
context.
thought it was Scar, did you?
Listen to your own bloody podcast again, have you?
I zone you out, mate. It just goes straight over my head. Anyway, right. Anyway, some more news this week. Welcome to Wrexham Season 2 release date and trailer, September the 12th.
Well,
yeah.
Which is exciting. And Tim, what can you tell us? There was a nefarious or some dodgy list of episodes going around, wasn't there? Which set some alarm bells ringing. To be totally honest with you,
don't read between the lines, but I can 150% tell you that wasn't accurate at all. So, yeah, what you've seen isn't accurate.
it was a very good fake. If that's what it was,
there might be some on it which was semi-accurate, but
it's a believable fake. They're the best sort of fake.
The message that's been relayed to me is that it's not accurate.
I was really looking forward to the 𝑾𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒈 episode as well.
God, and you're worried about me swearing? Jesus, Jesus Christ!
Oh God!
One of the
tone lowered.
One of my work colleagues thought that was a parrot, form of parrot. Honestly.
Can we absolutely move on from this conversation? So that's great news. The trailer. That's what's the situation with the trailer?
It's a brief snippet. Tipping's in it. Neil Roberts is in it. Neil's been getting pelters. He's been telling me for slouching in his chair whilst they filmed it, and like people having a go at him. It's like, oh, don't worry about that. You've played your part in Wrexham folklore. You're entitled to do whatever you like. So
there is nothing worse than when you're sat in a chair and don't realise that you look like a sack of spuds, and then you see a picture afterwards. So my thoughts and prayers are with Neil.
But we're not calling Neil Roberts a sack of spuds.
Absolutely not. I didn't think that he was slouching. It didn't come to my mind. But
But again, Neil Roberts, one of our guests for the 𝐹ID whatever bash, will be there. So we'll get a bit of an insight as to hopefully his wider involvement in season 2. Go and find it. It's going to be out on Hulu and Disney and everything else. And yeah, it's going to be great because I think there's a decent ending to it, isn't there?
Bloody hope so. I hope they haven't changed the ending.
Alternative endings could be. Anyway, lastly, last talking point is that the Cymru national football team is returning to the Cae Ras.
Got to ask Tim this first.
Excuse me?
What?
Well, no, Tim is Mr. Wales. I mean,
got
to ask him first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm delighted because was it 5 years since our last game, and then before that was something like 12 years. I don't know. We had the Trinidad and Tobago game. Ben Woodburn scored the only goal of a really horrible, rubbish game. It was really, really bad. It was the first time we've seen the Cae Ras packed in, or the Stoke Cae Ras, we should refer to. First time we've seen it packed in ages. It was great to see so many people from all over the country come up for the game. And yeah, it's not. I'm trying not to see it as a token gesture. It's just very much another positive step forward to have the games here, to have them under the new lights, for people to come back that may have not been to the Racecourse or Wrexham for ages, and to see the progress that the club is making off the pitch as well as on it. We don't know.
And to see how much of a trek it is.
See how much of a
to
trek
poor
it is.
public to the poor.
Such a South Walian slant on everything.
No.
Oh, it takes so long to get here. Let's just do it in Llanelli.
I forgot the date of it. It's in October. It's going to be great. It's going to sell out. It's a shame that the old guard are kind of leaving us in terms of, there's going to be no Bale, but hopefully we will see the likes of a rejuvenated Aaron Ramsey. Now he's
Brennan
Johnson. The future is there, and the future is still bright despite recent results and performances. So yeah, get behind that. It's going to be really good, and hopefully you might see the sprouts of a new COP taking place at that point. So we'll see.
Tim, very quick question. Which is the first Wrexham player who's going to represent Wales?
Paul Mullin.
Okay, fair enough.
At that game, hopefully.
I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because there's an argument that, it'd be great to have him play. my big bugbear. I see a lot of fans saying, I don't want him playing for Wales because it'll impact on Wrexham. But we're more than just a one-man team. We've seen that. I get he's massively crucial to what we're trying to achieve. But to me, the ultimate accolade is to play for your country. You know, whilst
Depends on how involved as well.
I used to get massively emotional by Wrexham players representing Wales, and it's been so long since I like Mark Jones and Steve Evans and Neil Roberts and all these players that we would have international calls between Wales and the Flynn 𝙁𝙁𝘁𝘿, and we'd have matches called off as a result of that. That's a way down the track of that happening ever again. But I'm excited by it, and I think if Mullin continues his goal scoring prowess, which I have no doubt he will, I find it hard.
I'll be amazed. If he doesn't play against Gibraltar, I will be absolutely amazed. Because
is there a danger that it becomes a bit of a token gesture? Yeah. I'm not saying that it would be, but is it just a bit too perfect that he gets randomly picked just for Gibraltar? You pick the team, you pick the best team for that match, right? That's what should be happening.
Yeah, but you pick the guy, you want to have a look at him, and what better to have a look at him than against a lower team to see what he can do. I mean, you don't pick him against Croatia, do you? And then just chuck him straight in. But it's more about the training. It's more about, can Page look at him for 3 or 4 days and go, yes, he has got the quality I need, that he will add something to this squad. And that's what this game is about, I think.
If Mullin plays against Wigan and picks them off and scores 2 or 3, it's another team from a higher level. He's proved it against Sheffield United, proved it against Coventry. We all know what a handful he is. We know there is an element of snobbery from other clubs higher up the pyramid that believe that players of a certain level shouldn't represent Wales. But you know what? If you're scoring goals at the rate he scores, then he earns his place, or he earns his chance and an opportunity. So
he earns his chance to train with those players, and the likes of Page can say, is he better than what I've got? Because I do pick lower league players. Is he better than what I can bring in? Is he better than a Mark Harris? From what I've seen, and Mark Harris has played quite a few games for Wales, but Mark Harris came for us, and I wouldn't put him in the same. I mean, he's not in the 30% of what Mullin does for us.
No, and Mark Harris has tipped up the Oxford United now. So
anyway, there is precedent for them.
If Mullin doesn't start, Flynn will drive him down in his Morris Minor to Rob Page's house and say, "Look what I've brought you." So that's every
like
incentive.
A cat with a bird in its mouth.
I had to deal with a bird literally an hour ago to my cat. So sensitive.
Just don't mention Andy Marriott. If Andy Marriott, if you're listening or anybody knows Andy Marriott, please get in touch, because we'd love to have you on as a right to reply to Brian Flynn's slating of you.
Yes, and on that bombshell, time to say goodbye. Let's rattle through a little bit of the feedback that we've had. We had some great comments on the YouTube channel this week, I saw. Comment from Mr. Terry Rat 24, not to be confused with Mr. Terry Rat 25.
I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Rat.
Is it double T or one?
No, it's not. It's his username. It's just at Mr. Terry Rat 24. Cheers from the States. New to the channel. Great vlog. Thumbs up. Thank you very much, Terry. Brilliant episodes. Will any of you be at the Man United game? Andy, will you be able? No, you can't. You replied saying no.
I can't. I mean, it was either do the East Coast properly or rush from east to west, and we wanted to do the East Coast properly.
Fair enough. And we've had another comment from Francis Lynch 9704. Loves to keep us on our toes, does Francis, and he says, some bad reviews lately online for the Fat Boar. Guess I will find out for myself soon enough. Table service is gone. Not a great sign.
Fake news.
Thoughts?
Fake news. I told him that. Yeah, it's wrong. Very wrong. But he will find it for himself. But yeah. In
the words of Ed Miliband, it's just wrong. And on that note, time to say goodbye. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Cheers, like, comment, subscribe, and look out for your tickets for the FIDstock, whatever event we're calling it. Get your tickets from...
Is howdy a goodbye?
No.
How do they say goodbye in the States?
Do I fire
See
a
ya,
gun
buddy.
in the air?
Just go
See
and
you
look
later,
at
buddy.
your phallic picture in your hotel room. That'll sort you out.
Okay. Right. Anyway.
Bye, everyone.
ta-ra.
Take it
Draw
easy.
out.